Hang on, guys. I'm still here. Give me a second. There is no such thing as that one special girl. She does not exist.
She'll forgive you for stepping out on her,
If your girl's on IG, she is not your girl.
but she will not forgive you for being boring.
So you want to be my girlfriend, huh? Good relationships are rare these days, but they are possible.
Unlock your phone and hand it to me right now.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 789th edition of TSR Live, your daily dose of toxic masculinity. It is Monday, October the 18th of 2021. It is good to have you guys in today. As you guys can see, I am hipster Donovan today. Matter of fact, let me move this over a little bit. There we go. There we go. So you guys know I have a few characters. I've got Vice City Donovan, and I now have hipster Donovan. Hipster Donovan comes out when it's about time to line up my hair again, and my beard game is a little bit frizzy. So I figured, hey, you know what? I'll make it work. I'm supposed to have a frizzy beard as a hipster. I'll, put on a beanie, and come on here as hipster Donovan. Now, on days where my hairline is extra tight and I'm feeling and smelling good, that's when you get Vice City Donovan. I think I'm probably going to do like a beta Donovan at some point. Hipster Donovan is probably beta Donovan, but it is what it is. It is what it is. As always, we are streaming live simultaneously to Facebook, mgtow.tv, manosphere.tv, YouTube, and of course, in crystal clear high-resolution 4K to Sharpe stream, which is this community's only independently owned and run platform, meaning it is impossible for us to get canceled. So however you're watching, wherever you're watching from, thank you for making the Sharpe Reality Live a part of your daily routine. I don't know what's going on with my sound effects. Looks like we're just going to have to... Yeah, I don't know why we can't hear them, but I'm not worried about it. It is what it is. We'll figure that out. Actually, I think I do know. I think I do know what's going on with the sound effects. Hold on. Hold on. Might actually... Aha! Here we go. Let's try this. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but... Nope, that didn't work. Okay, all right. Well, looks like we're going to be without... We are going to be without sound effects today, but it's no problem. I'm not doing a Kevin Samuels breakdown video today, so I think the sound effects will probably, they won't be missed. Shout out to the snipers over on the Sharpe stream side. Devin of let's see, we've got Dre Raven, Hellfong, Geeky Anomaly, Slapduck, RPAP, and of course Apollo 137, whom I live vicariously through, and of course the lovely and talented Devin. What would Devin's ghetto name be? Like, if I were to, like, ghetto-fy Dev's name, I'm thinking, like, Devon, LaDevin, Shadevin, LaDevon, Shadevon. Put your ideas in the chat if you would. Shout out to my sharpshooters on the YouTube side, Jason Moreno. Dre Raven double dipping, as usual. Dario Duplan says, un, deux, trois. Appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. Nabil Khan is in the house. Uncle Gun says, I'm nearing 800. I disagree. I say
It's over 9,000.
I think it's over 9,000. I think Hipster Donovan is over 9,000. That is my power level for today as Hipster Donovan. Now, as Hipster Donovan, I feel like I have to say I feel like. Not only that, I have to use upspeak. Like, I feel like the beer bug kind of messed up my dating life, so to speak. Now, you guys aren't getting that. Listen, just because I look like a hipster does not mean I'm going to act like one. At any rate, Jason Moreno says, Devontae. Remember, she's a girl, so it would have to be Devonta. Devonta. LaDevin, Shadevin, Devonlicious, The Geeky Anomaly on Sharpe Stream says Davana. Love it, man. Love you guys. A couple of quick announcements. Season 5 of The Six is coming back this Sunday. That's right, this Sunday, October 24th of 2021, The Six will be returning to its full-time slot. This season's panel will be, of course, yours truly, Coach EO, the Book of Alpharonomy, Minister Jap Hotep Jesus, and newcomer Kevin Savo. Kevin Savo, that's right, the writer, actor, and director of Captain Savaho, is going to be joining the panel on The Seven. I'm working on getting a few guest panelists, such as Kendall Kirkland, the star of Temptation Island Season 3. I would love to get him on the show. Sorry about that. A lot of you guys have been asking about The Six, and decided to go ahead and throw the panel together, and we're going to do this. So we're going to have a very, very good panel. I'm very, very much looking forward to that. So tune in this Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for episode 1 of season 5 of The Six. Jesus. Some sad news. Clyde, my bionic gerbil, he passed away last night. At the tender age of, 75 days or something like that. He seemed all right to me yesterday, but he did not. I looked in his cage, and thankfully he was covered up. But I tapped on the window, and he always responds, whether he's asleep or not. No movement, and so rest in peace, Clyde. He drove me crazy. Had a lot of crazy stories to tell, but that's the way it goes in the gerbil world. So rest in peace, Clyde. Definitely gonna miss you. Any other announcements to make? No, I don't have any other announcements. So before we get to this video, I would actually like to cover an article that was actually sent to me. By a longtime subscriber of mine. So shout out to Russell H. For submitting this particular article, and it's about femcells. This is actually, looks like it dropped today. And so one of the quotes is like, I feel hurt that my life has ended up here. The women who are involuntary celibates. What is it like to go without a partner when you long for one, and when even a fleeting sexual connection feels impossible? So they would have us believe that there are actually women out here who can't get access to sex even if they wanted to. Well, let's continue to read, because I think I know where this is going. By Lizzie Cernick. So the article starts, when a woman named Alana coined the term incel in the late 90s, she couldn't have predicted the outcome. What started as a harmless website to connect lonely, involuntary celibate men and women has morphed into an underground movement associated with male violence and extreme misogyny. In 2014, Elliot Rodger stabbed and pew-pewed 6 people in California, blaming, quote, the girls who had spurned him and condemned him to an existence of loneliness, rejection, and unfulfilled desires. There have since been numerous attacks by people who identify with incel culture, including Jack Davison, who offed 5 people in Plymouth this summer before turning the gun on himself. In the darkest corners of the internet, incel groups have become a breeding ground for toxic male entitlement, putting them on hate crime watch lists across the UK. But it is not just incel men who struggle to find sexual connections in the modern world. Some young women are turning to online, quote, femcel spaces to discuss the challenges they face as involuntary celibates. Theirs is a non-violent resistance, Rather than blaming the opposite sex for their unhappiness, as some of their male counterparts do, femcells tend to believe that their own, quote, ugliness is the root cause of their loneliness. Posting anonymously on platforms they have designed for themselves, they argue that they are invisible due to their abnormal appearance and that our beauty-centric, misogynistic culture prevents them from being accepted. There is anger and open grappling with self-esteem, but no extreme hatred and no sense of entitlement within the community. Let me go ahead and stop it right there. So, so these women are complaining. These women are complaining. Yes, Casual Germ on the YouTube site says misogyny. Appreciate that. Yeah, Daddy Dame, I know about Colin Powell. God, rest in peace, Colin Powell. So what this article would have us believe is that there are actually women out there who cannot get access to sex. They believe that their own, quote, ugliness is the root cause of their loneliness. Listen, man, there are no fat, ugly studs out there, but there are plenty of fat, ugly sluts. I have no idea why any getting laid for even overweight, ugly women is easier than breathing. There are enough thirsty dudes out here who smash these broads enough to give them access to sausage anytime they want to. This just doesn't make sense to me. I think this article is 100% bullshit to an extent. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what kind of women are really the femcells. But the beauty-centric, misogynistic culture prevents them from being accepted. There's really no such thing as... Listen, there are some girls out there who are not so easy on the eyes. But they're not overweight or obese. And that's the difference. Any woman who is not overweight or obese has absolutely no problem finding male companionship, even temporarily. And we're going to open up the phone lines a little bit later, guys, so stand by. No, what they are not telling us, and what they sort of indirectly lie to us about, you see this woman here? See this woman here? Listen, judging by, I guess, cartoon standards, a woman who looks like this should have no problem getting laid. No problem getting laid at all. The only women that I can think of who cannot get laid as much as they want to are women who are morbidly obese. And even then, I hesitate to accept even that. Because on My 600-Pound Life on TLC, starring Dr. No, hey, how y'all doing? Every single 6, 7, 800-pound chick, well, most of them, they have boyfriends and husbands. It's insane. Like, we have these half-ton chicks who, they look absolutely, they look like Jabba the Hutt times 10, and they have boyfriends and husbands. Look, I have no idea. And look, man, people can say, well, they have boyfriends and husbands because they probably collect disability. That's fine. That's fine. Like, I can certainly accept that. But they still find companionship, right? They still find companionship. We have girls out here, big girls, 300 plus pounds, getting easily laid. No, the only women in the Western Hemisphere that has trouble getting laid are extremely morbidly obese women. That's it. That's it. Right there, it says there is an anger and open grappling with self-esteem. Yeah, guess what? If you and these women know why these men don't approach them. They know. They don't want to say it out loud, but they know. The reason why men don't approach them is because they're overweight. The article continues. Meanwhile, a far greater number of women would not describe themselves as femcells, but live unintentionally celibate lives. They share many of the femcells' concerns. Caitlin, 39, doesn't call herself a femcel, but she hasn't had sex for almost 8 years and doesn't think she will find another sexual partner. I'm not conventionally attractive, she says, and I never get approached by men. Why on God's green earth would a man not approach a 39-year-old woman? The only reason why a man would not approach a 39-year-old woman who's even half decent looking is because she is morbidly obese. Caitlin, who's 39 years old, is morbidly obese, and this is why men don't approach her. Simple math. They don't look at me. She says, I've had therapy to try to address these issues, but dating feels like a barren wasteland. It's worse, she continues, as I get older because I've missed that short window to marry and have a family. You see, she doesn't need to be in therapy. She needs to be in the goddamn gym, is what she needs to do. These morbidly obese women are doing everything they can to justify staying morbidly obese. Why don't men want me? Well, you know what? Let me go to therapy to try to deal with my self-esteem issues. Here's a thought. Hit the gym and watch what you eat, and watch your self-esteem shoot through the roof. She never tells people that she is celibate because it makes her feel, quote, abnormal and inadequate. I feel a lot of anger and hurt that my life has ended up this way. I struggle to cope with the fact that I may never find a partner. Society makes it harder because after a certain age, people tend to pair off and form their own insular lives, and life gets lonely for single people. Oh boy. No. Listen, man, we have people. Listen, I found Dev when she was 39. I was 38, she was 39. Devin was this woman's age when Dev and I hooked up. And now we're in a long-term cohabitating relationship. If Devin were morbidly obese, I would never have given her the time of day, and Devin knows this. She tries to blame this on age. No, your age at this point, 39, yes, your options do become a little more limited. But the fact that you are morbidly obese, this is why she doesn't feel like she'll ever have a partner. She sees the writing on the wall. She just won't admit it. Although Caitlin is not morally opposed to casual sex, it's not an experience that feels right for her. Oh, good God, stop the cap. So she's not opposed to casual sex morally, but it's not an experience that feels right for her. That's bullshit. If you can do it, you do it. That's it. So now she wants us to think that, well, one-night stands don't feel right to me. This is the same thing as black men who say, white girls aren't special. I would never ever date a Becky. I don't find blonde-haired, blue-eyed blondes with ample breasts and heart-shaped asses attractive. Nah. Save that for the Chads and the Brads. No, the reason why they say that is because they know they can't have that. And so they act like they don't want it because they can't get it. It's the same as Kevin Ray Wilder and Cameron, whatever the fuck that knucklehead's name is. You're not supposed to kick your woman out of your... That's not how it's done. No, you're afraid to kick a woman out of your place if she disrespects you. You're afraid, but you don't want to admit that. So instead of just admitting, hey, you know what? I don't have the requisite experience to kick a bitch out of my place for disrespecting me. I'm going to act like it's not something I want to do. I could do it. I just choose not to because it's not the, quote, right thing to do. Well, that's what this is. Caitlin says that casual sex doesn't really feel right for her. What if she were a third of her size? Would it feel right to her then? It continues. She has had 2 short-term relationships which ended in heartbreak. There's a popular notion among incel communities and even in wider society that women are privileged because they can get sex at any time. Not only is that untrue, as many women will testify, but also, as Caitlin points out, not all sex is enjoyable. Generally, she says, men who aren't in a relationship with you don't make it a pleasurable experience, she says. The risk of rejection afterwards is high, which makes the sex even less enjoyable. As a woman, you want to be desired, not treated like a piece of meat. No, Caitlin. The reason why you're worried about the feeling of rejection is because you're morbidly obese. That's why you're worried about being rejected. Like, again, this is ridiculous. And listen, every woman wants to be objectified. Every woman wants to be desired. Every woman wants to be treated like a piece of meat in bed. So, again, she's using the kind of language, well, I would rather just be celibate than to be treated like a piece of meat. That's the biggest, that is all cap. If given the choice between being celibate and being treated like a piece of meat, women would choose the latter 10 times more than the former. Fuck out of here with that. Caitlin is aware that men also struggle with self-esteem issues linked to appearance, but believes the pressure is greater for women. Well, yes, it is. I'm not especially drawn to someone's looks or height, she says. Stop the cap. I prefer to get to know someone and develop an attraction. But if I feel that a man who didn't find me attractive straight away would never learn to become attracted to me. I see lots of beautiful women dating men who aren't good looking, but rarely the other way around. Men have many more ways to attract a partner than looks. Herein lies the issue. This is another, and listen, I'm not the guy who's gonna complain that all a female has to do is just not get fat. Right? We have many more ways to attract a partner than looks, but women are attracted to far more than looks. For us, a woman just has to look good and just really be nice. For women, you got to look good, smell good, you got to be tall, you got to have a great job, you got to be confident. With some of today's women's checklists, some checklists are so long, if you don't tick off one of those boxes, she's on to the next dude. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and complain that men have it tougher in the sexual marketplace. It is what it is. We're designed to handle rejection a lot better than women. We're the pursuers. Women are the pursued. It is what it is. But for her to complain about the fact that men have more ways to attract a partner than looks, that's not an excuse. All you have to do is not get fat. That's it. Dude, there are women out here who aren't so easy on the eyes. They have a drinking problem. They have an attitude problem. They smoke. No problem getting men to commit to them. Now, these men would be low value, low quality men, but it's better than nothing, right? Appearance-based discrimination, it continues, termed looksism by femcel communities, is not the only reason that some women struggle to find a sexual partner. Here we go. The risk of male violence has always been a concern, but the semi-anonymous nature of app-based dating has increased those fears for many women. Jane, 49, who's been single for 8 years and celibate for 5. Although she would love a sex life, she is not prepared to compromise her principles by seeking a casual relationship with someone she just met online. I don't want to invite someone I don't know into my home, as you never know the risks. Then how about meeting somewhere else, Jane? Did you ever think of that? Honestly, what kind of a bullshit excuse is this? Well, why don't you date? Well, I mean, I don't like online dating because, well, I don't want to invite someone back to my home. Sweetheart, there are many other places you can meet up for a date other than your house that happens to be in public. No, this is a bullshit excuse designed to circumvent the rejection. You don't want to invite someone back to, you don't get the opportunities to invite someone back to your home because men aren't swiping right on you. You're morbidly obese. This is why men don't want to be with you. It's ridiculous. Let me go back to this this paragraph here. The terms looksism by femcel communities isn't the only reason women struggle to find a sexual partner. Guys, I have said this. Well, actually, this is shout out to Rollo Tomasi. This actually happens to be law number 43 of the 49 laws of Sharpe. Take a look and listen. Law 43. Sexual attraction is non-negotiable. Rollo Tomasi. Men who sit around bitching and complaining about the fact that women are more attracted to degenerate cheaters who treat them like shit than they are to responsible men who treat them like ladies simply do not understand the stark reality that attraction cannot be negotiated. This is a feminine activity, as women are constantly trying to tell men that we should be sexually attracted to women who are overweight. It would behoove a man to improve himself in ways he has control over so as to increase his opportunities with women rather than wasting time bellyaching about what women should be attracted to. Sexual attraction cannot be negotiated, gentlemen, no matter how much you want it to be. It's so funny. They always dismiss what male incels talk about, but we're supposed to take these femcells seriously? Like we're supposed... Unbelievable. So then they go and talk about safety concerns and blah, 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 blah. Now, let's go down here. This woman on your screen, this woman, her name is... Hang on a second. Her name is Katie Piper. Now, Katie Piper, it says, is building an online community for people who don't fit beauty stereotypes. Right now, who is Katie Piper? Well, I did some digging around. Katie Piper, as you guys can see, according to Wikipedia, she is an English writer, activist, television presenter, and model from Andover, Hampshire. In March of 2008, she was attacked with acid by her ex-boyfriend and an accomplice, causing major damage to her face and blindness in one eye. Piper underwent pioneering surgery to restore her face and vision. Both attackers were convicted and given life sentences. In 2018, one of the attackers was released after serving 9 years in prison. In 2009, Piper gave up her right to anonymity in order to increase awareness about burn victims. Her experience was documented in the 2009 Channel 4 documentary, Katie, My Beautiful Face, part of the Cutting Edge series, and has subsequently been sold internationally. So yeah, that's what she does, right? So she was attacked. She was attacked in 2008, right? And I've seen some of the pictures of her after. And you guys can see, if you guys look at her picture closely, I mean, she's got on, her makeup artist is good, but you guys can see, if you look at her right eye is clearly not normal. Pardon me. Her right eye, or left eye rather, is clearly not normal. You guys can see that she's got some makeup on to cover up her burned face. And listen, I would not wish that on my worst enemy. Like, I'm serious. I would not wish that on anybody. And I did the research. The guy that she was with, he was a psycho and all that, and he's still in prison, and good for that. But something that's very interesting here is that it says she's married. Her spouse's name is Richard Sutton. They were married back in 2015. So let me get this straight. So she's attacked in March of 2008. 7 years after she gets her face literally melted off, she gets married, and now she has 2 children. Yet they want to, in this article, they want to compare Katie Piper to these other women. Now, in looking at this picture, looking at Katie Piper's picture, let me just do a quick Google search here, because I want to point something out here. And this might be obvious, but just stay with me. I don't want to be all, yeah, so that's Katie Piper. What do you guys notice about Katie Piper? She's now married. She has 2 children. Clearly, she was a victim. She was a burn victim, and it looks like she came out pretty damn good. Right? Yeah, her chest was messed up. I mean, she really, really, really went through the ringer, yet she's married with 2 children. What do you notice about Katie Piper? That's right, gentlemen. Katie Piper is not morbidly obese. Katie Piper is not even overweight. And so this goes to show that even when you are a massive burn victim, even as a burn victim, your face melted off by acid, guess what? There are still men out there who are willing to wife you. There is absolutely no excuse for a woman not to be sexually attractive in this day and age. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. Dude, Katie Piper got her face melted off. She's married with 2 kids. Yet, we've got all these butthurt bitches in here, Jane and Caitlin, feeling sorry for themselves because men won't look their way. Well, what they're not telling us is that these women in these femcel communities, they are morbidly obese. That's all this is. That's all this is. All a woman has to do is not get fat, and the world is her oyster. It's not even 18 to 28 anymore. If you can stay sexually attractive, you can still find, I guess, a decent guy well into your 40s. But that would take discipline, right? That would take you actually doing something. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we're going to get to the video here in just a minute. Let's see. Malik D on the Sharpe stream side says, hit it from the backer in the dark, problem solved. Real talk. That's why God created doggy style. Geeky Anomaly says, men do not become more attracted to you with time. The sexual attraction is instant or non-existent, nothing in between. The time we spend with women not smashing is to determine if you're good for more than just box. That's what grows with time. RPAP says, I mean, it looks way better than I was expecting. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, the obvious reason that she is now married is because she's not overweight. That's what this article tried to, well, you know, Katie Piper is this activist and da-da-da-da-da. No. Katie Piper has absolutely nothing to do with what these women are going through. These women need to lose the fucking weight. Honestly, man, like I'm honestly, dude, like negotiation can't be attracted. I'm sick and tired of these overweight bitches talking about men don't want to talk to me. I wonder why. Bitch, you know why. You know why. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the video breakdown here. So I came across one of my Instagram followers actually sent me this video, and the content creator, his name is Soul Immortal, and I watched the whole thing, and I was like, wow, this guy makes some really good points. Now, the name of this video is Today's Wife Types Are Yesterday's Bottom Feeders. And so without further ado, I'm just going to go through this video and break it down because I think I agree with just about all of it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I know why you can't hear the sound effects. I'm such an idiot. Hold on. Hang on. Hold up. I'm a freaking idiot, dude.
Yep. Nope.
Obviously, I'm a little bit rusty. I'm a little bit rusty. So the sound effects are now in full effect. And so now we can start the breakdown. Jesus. Now I can't hear him. What the? Oh, all right, here we go.
Wife type. You know, if we're honest with ourselves, today's wife type is yesteryear's trash.
Yep.
Now let me pause for a sec, brothers, because what I don't want you to think is that this is a bash video. If you're jumping on this video to bash and chant women this ain't the video, brothers. We don't move like that over here, right?
And listen, man, shout out to Soul Immortal Mind. Shout out to him, man. Because when I first started out, I've done bash women. Dude, I used to do bash women videos all the time. I still do from time to time. I still do bash videos about women from time to time. I don't think it's necessary to do bash videos on women because all of that's been done to death. Like, we understand bitches ain't shit, blah, 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 blah. So that's actually the direction that I'm going to be taking my content. Listen, I'm still going to point out the deficiencies and everything that's wrong with today's women and how they affect the dating marketplace, but I'm also going to start coming with solutions, right? I'm going to point out the deficiencies, but then I'll say, hey, listen, this is what you're dealing with. Here's how to deal with it. So shout out to him.
You know, this is simply to talk about an issue to at least start the conversation on how to change things around going forward, right? But if we're honest with ourselves, today's wife type is yesteryear's trash.
Yep.
What do you mean, so? What I mean is, you know, in today's world, if a man is taking, a woman home to meet mama, right? Odds are that young lady is going to have multiple sexual partners at that
Yep.
time. You know what I'm saying? In other words, she will have already gone through her whole phase. She will have already gone through a number of relationships, right? That's one. Two, odds are she will already have a child, if not multiple children, and possibly by more than one guy, right?
Okay, so let me stop it right there. This is exactly what he's talking about, guys. This is exactly what he's talking about. He's 1,000% right. Today's wife types, girlfriend types, whatever the case may be, are yesterday's trash. But guys, guess what, man? This is what we have to deal with. I'm not saying that you have to accept it. I'm not saying you have to wife these broads up. I'm not even saying you have to commit to these broads. But what it comes down to is that men and women are better together. I've said this for years. Kevin Samuels has said this for years. Men and women, we are better together. I live that, hangover, fast player Vegas life. I did that for a year. Did that for damn near a decade. Great fun. Magic carpet ride. But my life is a lot better now that I'm in a committed relationship. For many reasons. I don't have to sit here and go through all of them, but 99.9% of my audience, most men and women, they want to be in relationships. Really, the only reason why a lot of guys who are sort of angry at women, the only real reason, dude, player for life, I'm just going to fuck these bitches and smash them and trash them, is because they think that that's really all women are good for. And most of them are only good for a pump and dump. That's for sure. But what I think a lot of men need to understand, and I want you guys to listen to me very closely. What a lot of men need to understand is that, and this is just for the men who want to be in relationships of consequence with a respectable woman, what you're going to have to understand is that women are not coming ready-made for relationships and marriage anymore. They're just not. We got too many knuckleheads out here running around, well, I will only marry a virgin. My nigga, that's going to be a long wait. What is it, like 85% of virgins in America are men? If you're honestly, if you're waiting to marry a female who is still a virgin, chances are you're going to be breaking some laws. What men need to be these days, listen, we'll point out the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it's mostly ugly. But what we also need to do is we need to keep it real. It's just like the woman who says, well, I don't want to be on dating apps because I don't want to get stalked on by men. No, she doesn't want to be on dating apps because she doesn't want to be rejected. Well, we have guys who say, well, especially the loudest guys, the keyboard gangsters, well, I fuck nothing but 9s and 10s. I pump them and dump them. No, you don't. Bitches ain't shit and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? You know what? I'm not even going to date. But the first half-decent looking girl that gives him any play, he's right back in the Matrix. And that's no slight on that guy, because we as men, we are designed to want relationships. Men and women need each other. Yes, we need each other. Now, women need us a lot more than we need them. That's for sure. But having someone to share your life with, guys, I'm here to tell you, as someone who's done it now for damn near 5 years, it's a pretty goddamn good life. Doesn't come without its challenges. It doesn't come without its days where, I think to myself, Jesus Christ, why didn't I just stay in But in the end, when I calm down, I'm thinking, you know what? I live a good fucking life. And the woman I happen to live that good life with, number one, I trained her. I trained her for 18 months. And again, keep in mind, the reason why Devin was trainable is, number one, is because she was 39. Okay? She was 39 years old. Number two, she had just come out of an 18-year marriage. Devin didn't ride the carousel in her 20s. Listen, before she got married at 21, I'm sure she was no choir girl, that's for sure. And when I met her at the 6 months after her divorce and separation was finalized, trust me, she was fucking dudes. She was sleeping around. But the fact that she didn't spend the better part of the last 2 decades on the carousel, that really made a difference with me. I said, okay. She has hoe tendencies, as all late 30s post-divorcee women do, but she seems very feminine, she's demure, and she wants to learn. I'm not saying, and by the way, this does not make Devin a snowflake by any stretch of the imagination. She's not a snowflake, she's not a unicorn, right? And listen, she can talk all the shit she wants about her husband. They were bad for each other. He was a bad husband, she was a bad wife. That's the way of it. That's the way of it. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, the guy no, man, no. Neither one of those people were ready for shit, much less a marriage, not even ready for a relationship. They stuck it out for 18 years, so they gave it the old college try. But just because Devin didn't ride the carousel for 20 years does not mean that she is somehow different or special. Oh no, I still had to train her. But the point is that I had to accept, okay, Dev's not perfect. She's damn near 40. She's on the wrong side of 30, right? She's much older. She just got out of almost a two decade marriage. She's definitely got some shit with her, but those things are what made her attractive to me. Not only that, she was blessed with superior genetics. Devin at 45 years old has a better body than the average 25-year-old here in America. Real talk. And, a lot of guys compare Devin in their minds to Instagram models. Oh my God, she's a 2. Well, I mean, when you're comparing her to Instagram models who are 9s and 10s, maybe, right? But Devin, she had the right mindset. She didn't have the mileage. She didn't show signs of the kind of mileage that most girls do. So I decided to give it a whirl, and here we are. I said all that to say this. What most men need to understand, and listen, I'm not going to be the guy who says, hey, man, don't give up. Get out there. Find your... No. There are no special girls. All I'm telling you is that for the men who want to outwardly admit that, you know what, I acknowledge that today's women are terrible. I acknowledge that, but I also acknowledge that they do have some redeeming qualities that, if cultivated properly, could maybe be salvaged into maybe a girlfriend-like figure. But you got to know how to do it, and you have to believe that you can do it, and you have to have a woman that's willing to do that with you. Not easy to find, but it is possible. So this is not going to be I've talked about this ad nauseum. I'm not going to be the guy who continues to talk about, stay out of relationships and this and that. Listen, if you want to live the player life, how to master the game. DonovanSharpe.com/courses is right there on your screen. You can slay all the bitches you want. But when you grow out of that, just understand you're not going to find the virginal 21-year-old who's hot, doesn't know it, who still lives with her parents. She doesn't exist anymore. Holly doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. So now you have a choice to make. You can either check out of the dating market because you're not ever going to find your special snowflake, or you can take what you've learned, wrap your mind around the fact that, hey, I've got a lot of work to do if I'm going to build a quality woman from the ground up and get to work.
Like, this is the new standard, right?
Yep.
Odds are that at some point this woman has placed pictures of herself, whether it's ass out, whether it's boobs out, online. So there will be some sort of footage of your woman online, pretty much half naked, whether it's on the ground, whether it's on the book, right? And I'm telling you, brothers, this is the new standard.
Yep.
Like this is the world we live in. Like this is the new wife type. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at let's go on the bigger scale of things. Let's look in the celebrity arena. Now, for some reason, everybody likes to bring up Russell and Sierra.
Uh-huh.
And I'll be honest, bro. I'm actually happy for Russell. I look at how Sierra moves now. She's moving like a wife.
That's right.
I mean, she talks about taking care of her man. She talks about building a future with her man. She's having beautiful children with this man. She's done nothing that I've seen, since she's been with Russell to make me say, "Oh, brother, you moved wrong. You made a bad mistake." You know what I'm saying? I don't get why so many brothers are so concerned on why other men make choices they make. That baffles me.
You know what, guys? Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. I was in this camp, and as a matter of fact, I wrote an article about it. Years and years ago, I wrote an article. This was March 29th of 2017. This is more than 4 years ago. This is 4.5 years ago. Why Sierra will eventually cheat on Russell Wilson. There I am, Donovan Sharpe, March 29th of 2017. And I went through, she dated 50 Cent and Trey Songz and all of that. Right? But I listened to Kevin Samuels discuss the Russell Wilson Sierra situation. And something he said changed my mind about it. Now, let me just hit the brakes on this before you guys start making assumptions. This does not mean that Sierra didn't play the game. Sierra played the game perfectly. Alpha fucks, now she's got beta bucks. No doubt. Sierra rode the carousel all through her 20s, I guess, and her early 30s. She had a baby with Future. All that stuff, right? But when Kevin said Russell made Sierra break herself, Russell Wilson told Sierra, okay, you got this pass, you got this kid, check this out. I'm a multi-millionaire, probably going to be a billionaire at some point in my life. Russell Wilson has a future far outside of football, that's for sure. Good-looking guy, well-spoken, future Hall of Famer, first ballot. He can write his ticket anywhere. And clearly Sierra knows this, but Russell Wilson understood his value and said, you know what, Sierra? All right, check this out. What we're going to do, you're going to break yourself. Neither of us, and listen, this isn't something I would have done. I would not have abstained from sex because Sierra's hot. Even now, she's a fucking smoke show. But Russell did that for a reason. He did this so Sierra would break herself of all of the habits that made her a single mother in her early 30s. Russell's like, yo, look, check this out. I'm the king of Seattle. I'm making $35-40 million a year. I'm going to acquire generational wealth. You're coming in here. You're not like, you're asking me to buy a used car with some mileage on it. Okay, I'll consider your offer, but check this. I need some concessions. Russell made Sierra break herself. That's exactly what she did. And she hasn't shown any hoe tendencies at all. And again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know what happens behind closed doors. But judging what we have seen thus far since they got together, Sierra is almost, dare I say, Ayesha Curry. Ayesha Curry is actually going the other way. Ayesha Curry was ready-made for Stephen Curry. But Ayesha Curry appears to be getting bored of being the perfect wife. Now she's putting up thirst trap pictures, right? That doesn't mean that Ayesha Curry is a bad wife, but the point is that Russell understood his value. He made Sierra break herself to earn his commitment. That's exactly what he did. And guys, the son of a bitch pulled it off. He pulled it off. Just because I wouldn't wife up a chick like Sierra doesn't mean that Russell Wilson didn't make the right decision. Yes, Sierra's got some baggage. Yes, she does. Yes, she sport fucked her way around professional athletes and rappers. And I'm sure that affects their relationship in some type of way. But what Russell did, and I'm not comparing myself to Russell Wilson, but I had to make Devin break herself. In other words, I trained her. And now Devin is the doting, dutiful, in shape, stripper, slut, submissive, blah, 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 that I want and need her to be. And oh, by the way, she now works for me. Sierra's a stepbird wife now. Like, she's a wife and she appears to really like that lifestyle. I stand corrected. Will Sierra eventually cheat on Russell Wilson? I don't know, but I'm a lot less sure of it now than I was back then. Anything can happen. But thanks to this guy, Immortal Minds and Kevin Samuels, I think I see Russell Wilson and Sierra in a different light. What I mean to say by that is that, yes, Sierra was damaged goods. We all know that. But if you're the right guy, if you have the right temperament, if you have a goal, if you make a woman break herself, if you can train her, I'm not saying you can turn a hoe into a housewife. I will never, ever, ever marry Devin. Right? You might not be able to turn a hoe into a housewife, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't have redeemable qualities that you may or may not be able to use to your advantage for a few years. That's all I'm saying. You can never turn a hoe into a housewife. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that if you pick the right woman, if she's ready to change, then who knows?
You know, that baffles me to say, why is this brother, you know, I don't get that. But from my standpoint, I think Russell made a solid, you know, I think he made a solid decision. I think he got him a good one. The way she's moving, she's solid. But if you look at Sierra through the lens of 20 years ago, she would have been the bottom of the barrel 20 years ago.
As would Devin. If this were 2001 instead of 2021, dude, Devin's bottom of the barrel. So is Sierra. Is that sad? Yes, it is sad. It sucks that yesteryear's bottom of the barrel are today's wife types. I get it. But guys, it is what it is. It is what it is. We can sit here and bitch and moan. And guys, listen, 1950 is not walking through that door. We can't hit the time machine and just make what. No, this is what we have to deal with. So at this point in your life, you have a choice. You can either deal with women on strictly a sexual level, not deal with women at all, or deal with women on strictly a sexual level until one separates herself and makes herself available for training. Again, it's not easy. I'm not sitting here saying that it's easy. It was not easy to train Devin. It's still not easy keeping her ass in line. That is for sure. But at this point in my life, it's worth it because of the time we have together. My life is better now than it ever was in Vegas. And my life was awesome in Vegas. No, it's not as exciting. But I'll tell you what, man, it's a lot more fulfilling. Oops.
For Russell to take a Sierra to his mom and say, you know what, mom, like, this is going to be the new wife. This is going to be who I'm going to build with.
Mom
would say, you know, like, dang, like, she done been with a number of rappers. I mean, she got a baby by Future.
That's what happened.
Like who don't got a baby by Future in 2021? Shit. You know what I'm saying? And she would have said, this is the woman you finna jump the broom with? You know what I'm saying? So it's what I'm saying, brothers, it's a different standard than it was yesteryear. Look at Gucci Mane.
Yes.
Gucci Mane married Keisha Kior. I think I'm saying her name right. Now I'll be honest.
Gucci Mane.
For some reason, I didn't like her back in the days. You know, I would see her on everybody's video. I didn't hate her. I was just like, man, like she.
Yeah. Keisha Kior was a video victim.
Like she kind of wild. But I'll be honest, brother.
He said she was kind of wild. Hell yeah, she was wild.
I'll be honest. After I saw that video with Gucci and Charlemagne, where he was talking about how they move and stuff, right? After I saw a video where she was interviewed, where she was talking about how she takes care of him, and even though how they got all this money, she's like, you know, I'm gonna be the one cooking for my man every day. And I believe now they've had a child, brother. When I look at them, I don't look at them and say, oh man, they used to be, you know, like this. She was like that. I look at them and I say, you know what, they have a good thing going, brothers.
Yeah. Yep.
I look at them and say, you know what, man, I'm glad for Gucci, man. I think he's in a solid situation, you know. But 20 years ago,
20 years ago, that would have been a wrap.
20 years ago, if you look at that scenario and Gucci was to take Keisha to go see his mom,
shit,
moms would be like, dang, bro, like, son, she done been on everybody video twerking.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? She got kids living overseas or whatever the stuff. And I think when she just on the ground with her daughter, you know, on this little dance thing, I think that was her, man. I saw it, but I didn't really read the stuff. But I think that was her and her daughter doing this old ratchet, you know. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is 20 years ago, she would have been the bottom of the barrel.
There you go.
But now this is the type woman that we're making wife type. And I know a lot of you brothers are going to talk about this wall stuff. Oh, well,
I'll get to that in a minute. RPAP makes a very, very good point. He says, my problem with Russell is that Russell is a literal unicorn, and people might point to someone like Russell saying, yes, these kinds of relationships can work. But for the average man, even above average men or high value men, forget marriage. Getting involved with the wrong woman can destroy you. And it's bad to base a very important life decision on what worked for celebrity. I totally agree. And this is exactly why I use my situation as the example. You guys all know, listen, I'm always the guy that says, whoa, hold on. Don't compare yourselves to celebrities. That's a whole different thing. Now, it just so happens this guy's example, yeah. And listen, man, Russell Wilson married Sierra. I mean, they're sort of a power couple. They're a celebrity. Clearly different rules apply. But there are some similarities. She was a hoe. He's a good man. She was a hoe with a baby daddy. Never been married. He said, all right, check this out. If you're going to be with me, you got to break yourself. She broke herself, and now they're doing well. Well, this is exactly my situation, except for without the kid. Devin was married for 18 years. She met me at 39. She had been probably smashing every dude in the zip code when I met her for the last 6 months. She's like, well, look, I need to change. I want something different. I was like, well, if you really want something different, then there's some shit that you're going to have to go through. She said, okay, let's do it. And again, I want to reiterate this. You cannot turn a hoe into a housewife. You can't do it. It is impossible. But if your value is high enough and you know what you're doing, you can take a woman who has some mileage, but she's got to have those redeemable qualities. Listen, just because she looks good, that's no reason to take a woman under your wing and train her. No, she's got to be willing to be trained. She's got to know how to cook and clean. She's got to be willing to cook and clean. She's got to want to follow your lead. Gentlemen, these traits are hard to find in even young, attractive women, much less women who are older. Real talk. That's just how it is. This is why I use my example. I'm the average guy. Or above average, or I don't know, high value, but whatever the case may be. I'm not a celebrity. Me and Devin's situation is as representative of the real world as I can think of. Yes, there are some elements of our relationship at the beginning points that probably don't apply. But most of them do. We were both fucking other people. We met up. We start fucking. She's like, you know what? I'm tired of getting passed around. I want to be with you. I said, okay. You're going to have to break yourself. She broke herself, and here we are. That's all I'm saying. So I agree with you, RPAP. We cannot, it's very irresponsible to use celebrity relationships as the standard. This is why, and a lot of people, why does Donovan talk about Devin and his relationship so much? To show you guys that it can be done. I'm letting you guys know, hey, listen, if I can do it, anybody can do it. You guys know I was the biggest fucking simp ever. And if I can make the transformation that I've made, then anybody can.
Women move like that because they hit the wall. You know, this wall stuff, man, like, I get it. I get it, but a lot of y'all brothers are using that. For example, if Jada Pinkett, if Regina Hall, if a lot of these women that are 50 plus, if a lot of these women came and knocked on your door today, you wouldn't be saying nothing about no wall.
Okay, well, I understand the example he's trying to use. Jada Pinkett, Halle Berry. Listen, Jada Pinkett's not my type. Her hair is not long enough. She looks pissed off all the time, but I understand. If Paula Patton, how old is she? That's like the hottest black. Megan Good, how old is she, right? Yeah, of course, if they came knocking on, of course I'd smash, right? Zoe Saldana, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really what he's getting at. Older, attractive women. There are older, attractive women out there, that's for sure.
I know some women that are 40, 50, 55, 60 that are bad.
Whoa, wait a minute. 55, 60? That's where I have to diverge a little bit. Who knows? Listen, there are some 55-year-old women out there who are bad. I don't know many 60-year-old women who are bad. Listen, hey, if he's seen them, he's seen them. But yes, Devin is 45 years old. She's 5 years from a half a hundred, and she's in better shape and looks better than most women in this country. And the reason why, the reason why she is because whoosh, I cracked the whip. Hired her personal trainer. She trains 5 days a week. But he's right. He's right. The wall can... Devin's hit the wall, like, clearly. She's never going to be as attractive as she was back in her 20s, but instead of the wall, maybe she can kind of turn it into a ramp, right?
That I know if they came and knocked on your door right now, you would be wall-less. So I'm tired of hearing about that wall stuff, right?
I think men use this she's past the wall to circumvent rejection, right? Right? Like if a good-looking older woman were, I don't know, at a bar, whatever the case may be, she looks old, she's hit the wall. No, you're just scared to approach, and that's okay because you don't have the experience, but don't act like you don't want to fuck her. It's ridiculous.
But the thing is, we have to understand that it's a different era,
right.
Wall or not.
That's all right.
Look at Nipsey. Y'all know I love me some Nipsey Hussle, man.
Damn, that was tragic, man.
Look at Lauren London. Now, I will see Nip talk about Lauren after making all this music about, you know, how to move and women, all this stuff. I will see about the way he moved with Lauren. I would see the way, you know, she looked at him and how they conducted themselves and how they moved together and how they made the bag together and how they, you know what I'm saying? I was like, bro, that's a beautiful thing, man. Like I like the fact that Nip and Lauren are moving, you know, toward building something beautiful, right? But 20 years ago, if you would have took Lauren to mama now, she'd been like, baby. Like don't she got a baby by Lil Wayne? Right. Like who ain't got a baby by Lil Wayne?
Everybody.
You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is we're living in a different world.
Right. We're living in a different world. We're living in a different world. And that's the reason I wanted to break down this video. Is because there are so many... Dude, the vast majority of men in this community... They're using their anger. They're hiding behind their fear with anger. I'm angry. Bitches ain't shit. They're too old. They write. No. You just don't know how to handle women. That doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't make you a bad person because it's very difficult to be good with women today. It's very, very difficult. It is. But rather than a man just say, listen, man, it's just not worth it. I don't think I could do it. Nope. Women just aren't worth it. Well, how would you know? Right? How would you know? So many men in this community hide behind their fear using their anger. They pretend that they're angry with women and this and that. When in actuality, they're just afraid to approach women. They're tired of getting rejected. Trust me, man. I hear you. I've been used by women. I've been rejected by, I've been rejected by women. Right? So if you're going to check out of the dating market, just be honest. Be like, look, dude, I ain't got what it takes. I ain't got what it takes, man. These bitches out here, it's like playing the game on fucking God mode. I can't do it. Ain't no way I'm doing it. Cool, man. Like, I'm not going to be like, man, you can still get out there. No, listen, you're getting no judgment from me. You are getting absolutely no judgment from me. I get it. Just be honest. That's all I'm saying. Ooh, thought I had it.
We're living in a different world. And I asked myself, I said, well, how did it get like this, man? I said, how do we get to this point where the women of today, the way they move, you know, if I'm considering them the trash of yesterday, how did they get to wife type status? You know what I'm saying? And I was thinking on this, bro. And I think it all comes down to, you know, I mean, you can say it comes down to, I mean, you can put it on feminism, you can put it on whatever.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's the reason. Women are insufferable today and have their lowest value and their highest rates of misery and sadness because of feminism. Now, there are some guys out there who say, well, it's because of the men too. Well, I would agree with that to an extent. But I'm talking about the men back in the 1950s and 60s that allowed this nonsense to happen. Right? There are some content creators out there who want to blame men. Well, you can't blame women. The reason why women are there, it's your fault. No, it's not your fucking fault. It's not your fucking fault. You can't hold men accountable for something we were never taught. I've had to part ways with content creators Because all they wanted to do was blame men for the deplorable state of women. That's not what I'm here to do. This is a men's channel. I'm an advocate of men. I am team male. Not team black male. I'm not team white male. I'm team male. I advocate for men. I don't give a shit, dude. Honestly, I don't give a shit about women. Women have enough help out there. That's why this channel exists.
But what I think comes down to is everybody's chasing the bag. You know, out the bat right now, when you leave the house, whether it's 18, whether it's 21, whether you're male or female, whether you're black, white, green, or blue, everybody's on this chase the bag mission.
See, men should only be chasing the bag. Men should only be chasing the bag. You see, when women chase the bag, bad things happen. Listen, man, when women chase the bag, hey, man, they get the bag, but then the problem is that the resources they spent getting the bag takes away their femininity, right? Like Susie Q of, XYZ Fortune 500 company, by the time she gets to where she wants to be professionally, she's quite literally forgotten how to be a woman. She's had to hide her femininity. You don't rise up the corporate ladder by being nice and dutiful and dotiful and doting and feminine. No. You got to be a fucking killer. You got to act like a man. This is why career women act like men. Because to get ahead in your career, you have to display masculine qualities. Bitches don't chase the bag. Chase the men who are chasing the bag.
Everybody's going toward degrees and get money and success and all this stuff. And I'll say this, brother, and I believe this wholeheartedly, and it's gonna sound misogynist or whatever.
Get it to it.
I think that when women are put in positions where leadership is not present, but I believe they have the tendency to get reckless, to live life recklessly, man.
Bingo. Guys, I've said this for years. Women are their own worst enemy. They are. Women are their own worst enemy, guys. The biggest threat to women are themselves. And if you're a man who wants to be in a long-term relationship of consequence with a woman who loves and respects you, one of the first things you are going to have to learn how to do is protect a woman from herself. That's right. The biggest threat to women are themselves. When left to their own devices, a woman's default setting is self-destruction. Take the average 20-something who has a job and an apartment or a house by herself. She drinks every Friday night, possibly Saturday and Sunday night. She hooks up with guys by the boatload. All of these activities, they're self-destructive behaviors. Drinking's not good for you. Taking an enormous amount of phalluses, that's not good for you. STDs, unwanted none of that. Then by the time she hits 30, 31, 32, her life isn't the way she thought it would be, so now she's having to pop antidepressants and or anti-anxiety meds. Those aren't good for you long-term either. Women destroy anything they have complete control over. Women control the dating market, guys. Women control access to dating. That's why the dating market's a shit show. Boys and girls raised by single mothers turn out much worse than boys and girls raised by single fathers or in a two-parent home. I had Kendall Kirkland on the show yesterday, star of Temptation Island Season 3. King Kendall, Emperor Kendall. That kid was 26 years old, running circles around these broads, even with Mark. Even with Mark Wahlberg, who's, probably in his 50s. Mark Wahlberg doesn't know half of the stuff that Kendall knows at 26 years old, half his age. I guarantee you, a big part of that is because he was raised by a mother and a father. I'm sure that there are other reasons that Kendall was able to do what he did and come out smelling like roses. But the main reason is that he had both a mother and he had a mom and a dad. We all have mothers and fathers. Not all of us have moms or dads. Single mothers destroy their children. They destroy themselves. They've destroyed the dating market. And it's exactly what Immortal Minds just said. When women are the leaders of anything, they get reckless. And again, that doesn't mean that women are bad people. No, this is just who they are. This is just who they are. Whoever the creator is designed men and women to complement each other. Women are self-destructive. Men, we're fixers. This is where Captain Save-A-Ho came from. Captain Save-A-Ho was created because women are self-destructive by nature. That's just all there is to it. And I'm glad he said that.
I really believe that. And I think when we start putting, I think when women start moving out at 18 and 21 and start pursuing success or started pursuing the street or whatever they started pursuing when they left the house without being attached to some man, I think that was the beginning of it, brothers.
There it is. Without being attached to some man. There you go.
I think that was the beginning of it. But because when you have these women that are 21, 23, 25, 26, and they're just out in the world without having that father figure in the household.
Yeah, drinking and fucking. Yeah, that's what happens.
Without having that husband in the household. Brother, I think they tend to make horrible decisions.
Correction, they do make horrible decisions.
They make horrible decisions. If you think about it, brothers. See, way back, man, it used to be like where a man was growing up, women were growing up, and a man would go out and start building his career or finding his craft or finding his trade or finding his purpose and passion. And the women were kind of just sitting at home, still learning from mama, learning how to cook, learning how to sew and make gardens and all this stuff.
This is colleges and universities, man. Colleges and universities quite literally destroy women. You want to know why most women are not wife material? It's because of colleges and universities. When women graduate from high school, they're supposed to live at home with their parents until she gets married. Well, there's a reason they did that. Because they know that women who live on their own are self-destructive. They fuck random dudes by the truckload. They're drinking. They're doing drugs. Like, they knew all this already. They've known this since the Bible days. Now we have colleges where they get all the safety of being a kid without any of the boundaries that comes with being an adult. Children with dynamite. Wait a minute. I get taken care of by the university, but I can still do adult things? We wonder why most women act like children.
And once a man got his life straight, he came back and he was looking for these solid women.
That's right.
These women that were in many cases were still virgins. Many women were still just solid women. They weren't in the streets.
Nope.
And a man could find a wife. If you look back at the Alchemist and Fatima.
Yeah.
There are no more Fatimas.
No, there are no more Fatimas, guys. Nope.
There are no more women that once they become 18, 21, they're just sitting still, waiting on solid men to get their life right and come back and get them. The Fatimas are gone, brother.
Yep.
Because when men are out get building their life, women are out doing the same thing. And I'm telling you, when a woman is out just moving like that, without leadership in her life, without a father, without her being attached to a husband, a lot of times, not all, but a lot of times they have the tendency to move very reckless.
Yep.
Correction. He said a lot of times, it's every time. Listen, I have never, ever heard of a sexually chaste, attractive 22-year-old career woman. Never. I've never heard of a sexually temperate, attractive 23-year-old who lives alone and has a job. Never heard of that. So I'm going to go ahead and say all. If a woman lives alone, a woman is a hoe. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. That's why Devin was a hoe when I met her. She'd been married for 18 years. As soon as she got a little bit of freedom, it was like the Orient Express. I mean, I assume that's what happened because this is what women do when they live alone. This guy is nailing it right, and it's funny because I think this guy understands more than what he lets on. I think he understands more. I think he probably has a larger female audience than I do, and so he sort of hedges every once in a while. But I'm going to just go ahead and say it. All women who live alone are hoes. That's just all there is to it.
You know what I'm saying? Think about the way our grandparents and parents used to move, right?
Night and day.
Our grandparents, brother, they were getting married at like 14 and 15 years old. Like I'm telling you, brother, 100 years ago,
Shit.
80, 85 years ago, it was common for a man. It was common for a man 18 to be marrying 14-year-old women.
My parents were the same way. When my parents got married, my dad was 18, my mom was 16.
It was married for 2 kids to 16 years old to be getting married and moving and being married for the next, 80 years.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? It was common. So you never had that. You never had that point in time.
But let's be clear, guys. Those days are never coming back. Those days are never, ever, ever coming back. And so I reiterate. Listen, man, I'm sure a lot of guys are angry and this and that. Like, I get it. But we're not taking away women's voting rights. That's not going to happen. That's not happening. We're not going back to the 1950s. That's not happening. Too many men they hide behind this stuff and use that as an excuse. When they say this stuff, well, I could, but the dating market is just so terrible, I choose not to. No, you are afraid to. That's okay. But just be honest.
Where women had, that's this 10, 15 year hiatus of just wilding out. You know what I'm saying? Even our fathers, even our parents, the generation before me, they were getting married at 21.
Yep.
22, 23. They were getting together, building a future. So that window of opportunity for women to just be living reckless, it wasn't the way it is today, brothers. It wasn't the way it is today.
And it never will be. So
I'm saying all that to say this, man. It can tend to contradict what I always say, because I always say, brother, that like purpose over everything, and that's never gonna change. A man has to put his purpose, his mission in.
I'm gonna go ahead and open up the phone lines, guys. 516-387-1987. 516-387-1987. The phone lines are open. I'm going to go ahead and continue this video. 516-387-1987.
Life over everything. Over everything. But when you think about it, when a man is taking that time out to find his purpose, in other words, what I'm saying, if you're a young brother and you're 21, 22, 23, and you're at that place where it's like, you know what, I found me a solid woman, or I see myself amongst women that want to build with me now, right? And you're saying, hey, you know what? Well, I'm just gonna pause. I'm gonna find my purpose first, as you should.
That's right.
All I'm saying, brothers, is you have to know something.
This guy is speaking facts, man.
You have to understand that once you leave that pool to find your mission, when you turn 30 years old, when you turn 35 years old, when you try to turn back to go and find your Fatima, brother, I'm telling you, she will not be there.
No, she will not.
This type woman no longer exists. The new wife type, brother, you got to understand, she's going to have some bullet wounds. She's going to have some battle scars.
Yes, sir.
She's going to have a plethora of men under her belt. She's going to have a large number of men to compare you to. You know what I'm saying? It's a good chance she's going to have a child already.
That's where, again, people talk shit about Dev all the time. Dev didn't have any kids. Dev didn't ride the carousel in her 20s and 30s. Yeah, listen, she was a hoe when I met her, but this is the reason why she's fallen in. No, she's not a snowflake. She's not a unicorn. I turned her into what I wanted and needed her to be, and that's why we work.
It's a good chance she might have multiple children already. It's a good chance that you'll be able to see her at some point in her life on the gram twerking it up. You know what I'm saying? Ass out. So all I'm saying is this, brothers. All I'm saying is this. Just understand that we live in a different world.
Yep.
Understand that we live in a different world. Now, is that saying to settle? Hell to the no. I'm not saying that a brother. I'm not saying is, you know what, brothers? This is the plate we've been given. Let's feast on it. I'm not saying that. I just simply want you to understand what's taking place.
Listen, that video was 100% spot on, man. And I'll reiterate what I said earlier. What I said earlier. This is I'm a solutions-oriented guy. I'll point out the problems, and I'll have strong opinions on what I think the problems are. Like, I'm not going to sit here and go easy on bitches. Oh, no. But what I'm not going to do is just talk shit about women and then not give you guys any solutions. I feel like I've done that. I've done that for so many years, but now I'm really going to lean into it. So shout out to Immortal Minds, man, or Soul Immortal. The guy is wise, man. He really is, and he's really wise. I'm glad that he's a good content creator, man. And somebody in the chat said he's ex-military. That explains a lot. All right, 516-387-1987. Traveler 444 says, I've checked out of relationships because of political reasons. I'm tired of women going to the polls and voting for every feminist socialist policy. She fucks me in the bathroom, then stabs me in the back at the polling station. Listen, man, what you have to understand, and I actually have pointed this out before, women don't have their own belief system. They don't. They only believe what the strongest men in their lives believe, right? So if you have a strong enough influence over her, she will fall in with your political beliefs. Dude, she'll fall into what you watch on TV. She'll like your same sports teams. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you, Traveler 4444. But my guess is that either you weren't the most influential man in her life at that point, or you weren't with her long enough to establish that. Oh, dude, a woman will change everything about herself. She will change everything about herself. She'll change her whole belief system if you are the strongest man in her life. 12 times out of 10, man. 12 times out of 10. Technomage B5, $5, says, earn your commitment. That's the key right there. Nothing valued that isn't earned nothing is valued that isn't earned the hard way. Hold up. There you go, man. There you go. Very, very well said. RPAP on the Sharpe stream side says, I think another issue, guys can't get all the attention and sex from women until they're significantly older, like 30 plus. But they know women their age do get all that, and they have their fun. Then when these girls look to guys around their age for husbands, these guys think, hell no, you got to have your fun. I'm just getting to experience mine. Yeah. The truth, listen, the fact of the matter is that most women over 30 are too old to date men their own age. This is all there is to it. They're too old to date men their own age, man. Most of them are. Listen, there are some extremely attractive 35, 45, 47, 49-year-old women. Every once in a while, they might be able to lock down a man their age. But, dude, she has to be exquisite. She has to be an unbelievably physical specimen. Has to be an unbelievable physical specimen. But most women, once a woman turns 30, she's too old to date women. Too old to date men, probably, and women, her own age. So, I don't have any callers on the line yet. I'm going to leave the lines open for about 3 more minutes. Then I'm going to go ahead and call it and get on to the F-Boy Island breakdown. Jennifer, Street Fighter 88 says, Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, Jennifer Lopez. Listen, she's the hottest 53-year-old who will ever live. Clearly a gross exception to the rule, but as we all know, that's not the rule. Yeah, Ice Dragon Kid says, not many women are respectful anymore. I agree, man. Totally agree. Somebody in the chat said, there's an age gap for a reason. Yes, this is why the best relationships are typically between a man who is on average 7 years older than the woman he is dating or is with. Yep, totally agree. Let me just reiterate for you guys who are just joining us. Season 5 of the 6 premieres this Sunday evening at 8:30, 5:30 Central. I'm sorry, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. It's going to be Coach EO, Book of Alpharonomy, Minister Jap, myself, Hotep Jesus, and Kevin Savo. Area code 206, I see you in the queue. I'll get my screener over there to screen you as well. Rebel 5150 says the woman Drake took on a date to Dodger Stadium. Yeah, Drake isn't going to, he's not going to wife her. And when I say women are too old to date men their own age, what I mean is most women over 30 are too old to get commitment from men their own age. Men their own age and older and younger, they'll smash all day long. But dude, no man of value is going to commit to J-Lo. They're just not. She's supposedly dating Ben Affleck again. Dude, that's not going anywhere, man. That's not going anywhere. Dude, Ben Affleck is smashing girls less than half J-Lo's age. All right. So let's go to the phone lines here. 916. Wait a minute. 516. Lines open. There we are. 516-387-1987 is the number that you need to call to get on to the show. Let us go to Kevin in. Oops, sorry about that. Let's go to Kevin in Vegas. Kevin, how you doing, man?
Hey, Donovan. Glad you're doing better and that you're back.
Thank
Worried
you.
about you there for a while.
Yeah, but I'm glad. I appreciate that, man. It was touch and go there for a little while, but it is what it is.
I had a question for you because RPAP and I were talking in the chat about how the social media and the smartphone, and kind of agreeing with the guy that you had on there, was that the kind of woman that our grandmother was, or even our mothers for some extent, doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
Do you think it's kind of like there's the top 1% of men in the world? Do you think there's that top 1% of young women where, it's a small country town, she goes to church, she's living at home with mom and dad, she's raised how to be a wife? Do they actually exist? And if so, is it even worth all the effort to even find them, or should we just not go bend over backwards like that?
So you're asking me if women who live at home until they're married, do they exist? And if they do, is it worth it to seek them out?
Basically, yeah. The small town, country, old value, no smartphone, all that stuff.
I'm sure they probably do. I'm not 100% sure, because I was actually talking to Andrew Tate, Cobra Tate, months and months ago. And I remember him telling me, there's no such thing as hot girls who don't know they're hot. That's an extinct species. He's told me, I'll be out in the most remote areas or villages in Romania, and he sees, these beautiful girls, and he's like, wow, what's going on? How do these girls exist? 400,000 followers on Instagram, right? And so, yeah, and so the smartphone has really fucked up a lot of different things, man. There are no such things as pretty girls who don't know they're pretty, because when girls know they're pretty, they tend to act out, because they know that men will put up with their shitty behavior. Do they exist? I'm sure they probably do. Is it worth it to seek them out? Only you can really decide that. Listen, if you're a man of means and you have access to these places, and you can get signed off, and you have to understand, if you do find such a village or a town, there are going to be some gatekeepers, like the fathers and mothers of these girls. They know these girls are
the whole village, the whole community.
Yeah, Right.
even.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, especially an outsider, they're like, whoa, wait a minute. We don't want an outsider coming in and exploiting our women. You know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
is it worth it? My guess is that it probably would be, but you got to be on it. You got to be ultra high value for sure, man.
Awesome. Thanks.
No problem. Thanks for checking in. That is Kevin in Vegas, aka Geeky Anomaly. Yeah, it's interesting. And Blaze in Orlando, I'm coming to you next. I remember a while, it wasn't in the not too distant past. I remember there was a guy, I think he was in Kentucky, and he was telling me like the best kept secret in terms of finding potential women of quality are girls who are homeschooled. Like that. I mean, he said, man, listen, man, girls who are homeschooled, and everybody disagreed and all that other kind of stuff. But we had one woman call in and confirm it. So it appears that homeschooling is, I guess that's a good resource. You got to find the villages first, though, I suppose. Okay, let us go to, give me a second. All right, let's go to Blaze in Orlando. Blaze in Orlando, you're on Live at Donovan. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Donovan? How are you, buddy?
Doing good, man.
Hey, man. So, let me tell you about this story. So, I dated this girl for about 5 years.
Okay.
And we actually had a falling out about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, that's when basically the pandemic hit. So, I was planning on moving away, but because of the pandemic and everything, I stayed stationary. So, I noticed that during this time, actually, we bonded better as not physically, if that makes sense, as
say that again,
in a relationship. So we bonded as friends, basically better.
Okay.
Is what I'm trying to say, right?
Okay.
But during this time, I had like this hope maybe she would fall in love again with me.
Mm-hmm.
And recently she came to me and told me that she's now interested in a new guy, right?
Okay.
And I myself, even during this time, was messing with other women, was sleeping with other girls. I never really had an issue with women. But for some reason, I can't let go of her emotionally.
Sure.
And I'm trying to figure out from your standpoint of view, what is maybe causing me not to be able to be accepting of her, to move on, and for me to be happy without her.
Okay. That's a very good question. How long did you date her?
5 years.
Okay. That's the reason. You spent 5 years of your life with this woman. That's the reason it's hard for you to let her go. You know what, honestly, man, and you probably, you could probably attest to this. If you have enough experience with women, every once in a while, there will be a few women that you'll always think about at some point in time. Jennifer, there's a girl I dated by the name of Jennifer. She was attractive enough. Nice body, but she wasn't like a knockout, drop dead gorgeous girl. But I had such a great time with her. Dude, I love that. I love that girl so much. We only dated hardcore for like 6 months. And then everything of course fell to shit. I would say once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, thoughts about Jennifer do cross my mind. Same with Tatiana. I dated her for 8 months, found out I was the side dude. And this was only 8 months. Every once in a while, I will still think of Tatiana. The point is that, and I know you've probably heard this before, but time heals all wounds. And the fact that you spent 5 years with this girl, that's one of the reasons why you can't let her go emotionally. So let me ask you this quickly, Blaze. Why did you guys break up? What happened to help you? What happened when you guys broke up?
Well, our relationship was kind of already crumbling before where I'm going to get to.
Okay.
So this girl, even though drop dead gorgeous, was really about me, she didn't love herself.
Why do you say she
I was
didn't?
basically giving her bricks.
Let me stop you right there. Why do you say she didn't love herself?
Because she would always question about how she felt about herself.
Okay, so keep going. So she didn't love herself, and so
every time I would try to be, productive and give her good advice or be there for her, like I was basically throwing away the bricks that I was building and giving it to her, and she was just throwing them away, right?
Okay.
It got to a point where I got into a really deep depression, got into drinking, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Donovan, I took advantage of her 2 times.
How?
Like sexually.
Okay, so you're not. Are you
So,
talking? Hold on. Are you
look-
talking? Hold on. Are you talking about the crime of EPAR?
Yes.
Okay, so now I gotta let you go because you have admitted to a crime on my show, and I'm not going to. I can't advise men who have committed the crime of EPAR in terms of what to do. I appreciate the call, but when you go like that, I gotta cut you off, man. Let us go to Rel in Tampa. Rel in Tampa, you are on live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, Donovan? I
Doing
got a question for you. Kind of off topic, but all right. So, I got this neighbor. She invited me over one day. She was like, she asked me if I want to be a friend or a friend. So I'm like, I normally don't mess with people in close proximity from me, real close to me like that. But I took her up on offer or whatever. Then 5 days later, she started acting crazy, talking about, you shouldn't be having sex with anybody. This Friday that just passed, she came knocking on my door talking about that a girl, my sister said that it was a girl who just left their house. I'm like, so I let her have it, no, ain't none of that happened. I'm not on none of that stuff, Basically, my question is, how should I proceed with that?
So let me just make sure I'm understanding you correctly. So one of your neighbors says, hey, do you want to fuck? You started fucking your neighbors, and now the neighbor that you're fucking is feeling some type of way because your sister told her that there are other girls leaving your apartment.
No, not my sister, her sister.
Okay. Let me ask you a question,
Yeah,
Ralph. What kind of a relationship?
Go ahead.
Hold on. Well, now you got to be honest with me here, because if it was just strictly sex, who would give a shit if another girl is leaving your apartment? Are you guys dating or not?
No.
Okay. All right.
This happened last week. 2 weeks ago, this happened.
Okay.
So this Friday that just passed, she came knocking on the door. And I stopped talking to her since then. I put her on ice. I can't do that. I'm not, you acting crazy right now.
Yeah, it's hard to deal with those situations. This is why you don't fuck people who live in your apartment building. The only thing I would do if I were you, number one, you have to stop fucking her. Don't talk to her. Don't text her. If she continues to harass you, call the cops and get a restraining order on her. That's my advice.
Okay. All right, that sounds about right.
Okay. Well, thanks for the call, Rel in Tampa. Yeah, you guys have to understand you can't be messy with this stuff, man. Don't fuck your neighbors, don't fuck your coworkers, and don't fuck girls at the gym. Just don't do it. Guys, listen, there's plenty of pussy out there. There's plenty of pussy. There are so many men whose main way of sourcing girls is girls he works with. We all know the girl or guy who's always dating somebody at work. The rule is this. If you date someone you work with and that relationship ends, within 6 months, either one or both of you will no longer be with the company. Those are the facts. If you're dating a girl who goes to your gym, when and if you break up, in 6 months or less, either one or both of you will no longer be a part of that gym. Honestly, is pussy worth having to find another gym? Is pussy worth having to find another job? Here, I'll give you the answer to that.
Nope.
Fuck no. And look, it's easy. Listen, I get it. It's easy for a guy like me to say, well, don't do this and don't do that. I understand. I've had sex with plenty of women, and been there, done that type of thing, right? It's easy for a guy like me to say, hey, don't be fucking your coworkers, don't be fucking your neighbors. But guys, I've made this mistake many, many times. It is never worth it. It's never, ever worth it. Okay, let's go to Damon in Detroit. Damon in Detroit, you're on Live with Donovan.
Hey, Donovan, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man.
First of all, welcome back. Much blessings to you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. This little situational story I have it coincides with what you said prior to opening up the phone lines about young ladies being at home, being taught by their mothers while the man was out building and things of that sort. Then they come back and get their wives and move forward.
Right.
So, with that being said, I have a cousin. She's not so little anymore. She's, I believe she turned 35 this year. Okay, so the story has it that back in 2015, she met a young man that was born and raised in Louisiana, lived in Tennessee. Now, my cousin, so he's a Southern cat. Good, he was a good dude. My cousin had undergrad and grad from Michigan State.
Oh, wow.
And I forget what college this young man went to, but however, as young as this man was, he was a director of a hospital.
Wow.
This man played no game.
Wow.
All right? On paper, they look like the next Cosby's. She was a Delta, he was a Q. I mean, neither one of them had kids.
Wait, hold on, real quick, hold on. So she was a Delta, he was a Q. I thought the Qs dated the AKAs for the most part.
That's what I thought as well, but
damn. All right, damn.
Hey,
dating a Delta. All right, I ain't mad at. Listen, I ain't mad at her. She could her a Q. Shit.
This young man could burn on the grill. Everybody liked him. I mean, and this guy was so top notch. So my other cousin. Now I'm gonna move on with the story because there's some things you need to hear. My cousin and my auntie was in process of moving from one house to another. So my cousin lived with my other auntie until things were set. Okay. Well, her wheels got stolen off her car in my auntie's driveway.
Damn.
All right. So this guy came from Tennessee to be with my cousin on a red-eye flight.
Okay.
Handled that business. Went back to Tennessee to finish his work week. To come back that following weekend to be in the wedding. Because he was in a wedding party for my other cousin to get married.
Okay.
That's how he handled his business. So anyhow, this relationship dissolved. We don't know what happened. Mm-hmm. None of that.
Wow.
We went to talk to my cousin. She was tight-lipped, wouldn't talk about it. None of that. She went out here and jumped on the cock carousel with this Jezebelian spirit best friend.
What?
The next dude she met. Donovan, was the total opposite of this other guy from the guy from Tennessee. All right, but this guy had a grip on her, on my cousin, and everything. Thank God a pregnancy didn't come out of it. All right, that situation lasted about 8 months. When that situation ended, once again, she didn't talk about it. Nothing. She was completely destroyed. My aunt said all she would do was sit around and cry. She would come from work and cry and mope around, etc. So she eventually got over it.
Okay.
So then she had another boyfriend, but it was whack. It wasn't going no place. So now she's married. Now she met a white guy. Well, he's Italian. No pun intended. And this is the difference between our community, African American, and outside of African American community. This man approached my cousin and had a plan. They met in late 2018, 2019.
Okay.
He proposed to her October 2019.
Damn.
They got married last year, August 2020. And now in 2020, well, earlier this year, they bought a house. They just had their son, Giovanni, and everything is good. This man played no games. But however, let's get back to my cousin. My cousin now is learning on the fly. Now I want to touch on when you talked about they coming up and the women coming up under their mother's wing and learning from their mother. My auntie taught my cousin nothing. She don't know how to cook.
There you go.
She barely know how to clean. The only thing she knew how to do was look good. That's it.
And I'll tell you
I've
this.
been talking to my cousin
like, hold on. I'll tell you
Sorry,
this.
Donovan, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll tell you. And thanks for the call, Damon. I gotta get to Michael in West Palm Beach here in a second. The way that works is that the guy that was married to his cousin the first time, he measured up statistically. He didn't know how to handle women. That's why she ran afoul. That's why she didn't want to say why the marriage ended or why it dissolved. He had his shit together, but he didn't know how to handle women. These are the breaks. All right, let's go to Michael in West Palm Beach. Mike, you're on with Donovan. Go ahead.
Hey, Donovan, I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, I've got a girlfriend right now. I've been pretty much red-pilled and MGTOW for about 6 years. I've got a really great career. I live by myself. And I've had a ton of girlfriends in my past, but never anything. I had a long 4-year relationship coming out of high school, which was, puppy love stuff. But as an adult, really realized what women were and kept my frame really well, and finally just realized what they are and how modern women exist. So I've been moving that way, been single for a long time, happy, basically came to the realization I'm probably just going to be a confirmed bachelor my whole life and just live the MGTOW life. It is what it is. And about 2 years ago, I finally met a girl just casually, and she turned out to be probably like your Devin, which is, very feminine. She gave me something that I didn't even know I wanted.
Right.
It wasn't even a relationship predicated on sex. It was just that femininity that I just got real high off of. She was traditional. She cooked and cleaned. She had her master's, so she's a very smart girl, which I love. But someone she's the complete package, but except for one thing, and that is I just don't find her that physically attractive. And I feel like I'm a shallow a-hole for thinking that way, but I can't deny my feelings on that front. And so it's like I found a girl who's got all these things that most women don't have, but she doesn't really excite me physically. She's got a great body. She's just not physically attractive to me.
So how long have you been dating her?
2 years.
Okay, 2 years. And you said she's got a great body?
Yeah, banging.
Oh, okay. What does her face look like?
She used to have like a real full face, and you know how like as women get older, they sort of like lose that plump baby fat in their cheeks and stuff.
Yeah.
So she just looks like I hate to say it, but like the wall. Like she just looks like she's getting older, but like old. And I don't even like. I'm not even mad about it. I'm just like, you know how they say men get better with age, and I feel like I'm crushing it right now.
Sure.
And I just hate the fact that I'm like, man, this is it for me. Like, I'm not interested in like, I treat her like gold. I would never tell her this to her face.
Sure.
But we don't have like that spark in the bedroom. We don't have. It's more just like she looks up to me like crazy, and I respect that. And we have like this really great like father-daughter relationship almost. But it's not. We're like roommates almost, but not a very strong passion.
Okay. Is it something that she is or isn't doing in the bedroom? Because I can't imagine why even a half decent. Like I can't imagine why.
She worships me.
Say again.
She, for all intents and purposes, she worships me. I mean, she'll do anything I ask her to do. I mean, absolutely. And even things I don't even want her to do, she'll volunteer to do just to keep me happy.
Okay.
So I feel like she's such a good girl, and I'm not the kind of person to be an asshole or take advantage of her that way.
Sure.
So I've been with so many women on the other side of the spectrum where we are having great bedroom fun, but they're crazy or they're not, girlfriend material, or they bring drama. And so she's like the complete opposite. She cooks, she cleans, she's sweet, she goes along with me, she lets me lead, all the things that you would think you would want. But that one crucial ingredient is missing. And so I'm just sitting here going, wow, I've had it both ways now. And it's like, do I die a slow death with her, or do I die a quick death with these other girls where like we have real quick fun, but then I want nothing to do with them after we're done having our fun?
Okay. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate your current girlfriend right now?
Oh man, I would give her a 6.
Okay. All right. Banging body, she's a 6, etc., etc. Is she not
Correct.
your type physically?
I think she's not a very sexual person. She's sort of like a nerdy kind of girl. So she's got a great body and she does what I want, but she doesn't, I don't want it from her. She's just kind of offers herself up. You know what I mean? So she's kind of like having, I don't know how I'd even explain it. She's kind of like hooking up with like your housemate or something.
Okay, fair enough.
She's not like the girl she's not a girl you would swipe right on. Even though I actually met her on a social dating website, but it was more I was on a business trip actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I met her just casually, like, hey, she messaged me, it was Bumble. I'm like, yeah, I'll grab a drink with you.
Okay.
And it was just one of those things where we had killer chemistry, and we ended up just being like, I actually fell in love with her from like a respect angle. Like, I don't know, I'm older. I don't like
How old are
banging
you? How old
chicks
is
to
she?
me, dude. She's 32.
And
I've hooked up so many women
seconds.
that it wasn't like, the chase doesn't really do anything. Like, the fact, like, she was like a diamond in the rough as far as her personality and her morals and her character.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you are looking for the Madonna and the whore in the same person. And the Madonna whore complex is literally alpha fucks beta bucks. So what women are looking for...
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So what women are looking for...
Yeah, I'm telling you...
Well, hold on,
I've
let me
been
finish.
there,
Hold on. Let me finish here, Mike.
60 seconds.
And we have much more than 60 seconds here. So what women want, they want the loyal alpha, the guy who could sleep with any woman he wants, who doesn't sleep with any woman he wants, who's also loyal to her. What you're looking for is essentially the virginal girl who fucks like a whore. And my guess is that your bedroom fun. What is she like in the bedroom? Is she a good lay or is she kind of boring?
She's kind of boring, but honestly, I'm going to have to put that on myself because she's literally willing to do anything I want to do. It's just I don't have that desire. Like, I don't have that sexual desire for her to where I'm like jumping her bones. So I'm not really even. I don't look at her. The first way I look at her is more of in like I respect your morals and your background, and like the fact that you love me. I love her because she's so into me, and she's such a good person. Whereas the sex part is like, that's like number 3 or 4 down the list.
Okay.
But after time, it's really kind of like, it kind of wears on you, I guess.
No, I understand. What you're going to have to understand, Mike, is that even as a high-value guy, and let's face it, you're a high-value guy, even high-value men, there are costs for everything. Like, there is a sacrifice. Listen, if you want the hot girl with the rockin' body who fucking, makes her toes curl with her mouth, you're going to have to understand she's got issues. She's crazy in the head. She does drugs. She's an alcoholic. She has some sort of diagnosed mental illness. On the other hand, if you want the girl who is like your girl, you're going to have to understand, you're going to have to make some concessions in the bedroom. Every man says, well, I'd love to marry a virgin. Okay, as great as that would be, virgins are inexperienced in bed. So sex with virginal women is not going to be as exciting as having sex with a woman who's banged 250 guys, right? And so at this point, right. And so at this point, you really have to ask yourself, what's the most important thing to you right now? Now, you're 38 years old and you're like, okay, I want to live the bachelor life. And listen, I have no problem with that. But understand that the girl, if what you're telling me is true, it sounds like you have a good relationship with this chick. It just sounds like the bedroom fun is lacking. That's kind of where this is going. So do you want to have one night stands with chicks who could turn your life upside down, or would you rather just stay with this girl because you know she's going to be solid, and then maybe have chicks on the side? Because guys like you can literally have it both ways. As long as she doesn't see it, smell it, taste it, don't fuck her in your house, don't catch any STDs, and don't knock any bitches up. You can, and dude, there are so many men just like yourself They have a woman that they truly do love from the bottom of their heart, but listen, the sex is adequate. It keeps me around. But listen, sometimes I want the whore instead of the Madonna. So they'll go out, they'll get a few whores, they'll get their rocks off, and then come back to come back to the Madonna type woman. I can't advise you. Right. I can't advise you.
Life, basically.
Well, right. I can't advise you on what to and what not to do. But I will tell you this. Your priorities at 38 are going to be very different from what your priorities are going to be when you're 48. So while it might sound exciting to live the forever bachelor life, and it can be exciting, I think what you're probably going to have to understand, you probably understand this now, is that even though the bachelor life is exciting, it's not very fulfilling. Now, if that's something that you're willing to give up, no problem. You're getting no judgment from me. You're just going to have to understand that you can't have it all in a woman.
Right. I'm starting to realize that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's...
all right, Donovan, man. You're the best.
Okay. Thanks for calling, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Michael in West Palm Beach. Yeah. It sounds like he's... It sounds to me like he's starting to get a little bit... bored in the relationship. Yeah. Sounds like she's willing to be trained, man. If he says he doesn't want that from her. I don't know, man. You put any woman in stripper heels, trust me, I don't know, maybe this is just maybe heels are my own fetish, so to speak, but yeah, it sounds like he's got a good woman, and I think she's willing to be trained in the bed. Crazy chicks are fun in bed, but I'm telling you, man, outside of the actual sex, oh my God, crazy in bed, crazy in the head. Crazy in the head. All right, cool. So we had great calls today. Lorenzo Rock says I'll be 49 next month, and that's the kind of girl I would be down for right now. Yeah, there you go. Listen, and Mike might not be ready for a relationship, but he's been with this girl for 2 years. She's attractive and she's sexually attractive enough, and she seems to possess all of the ancillary qualities outside of sex that a man could want. So, listen, good luck to Mike in West Palm Beach. But, yeah, I mean, it comes down to choices. You can either fuck randos forever, or you can choose to be in that relationship, or you can have the best of both worlds. Just don't let your girl find out. All right, good stuff. So coming up next, as always, pardon me, the F-Boy Island breakdown. The F-Boy Island breakdown. Casey has escaped from the F-Boy penitentiary, and I can't wait to see how CJ is going to react when she sees him. Give me a second here. Oh, there we are. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. So let's see. There we go. Okay, very good. So if you want to watch the F-Boy Island breakdowns, absolutely free. All you have to do is download the Sharpe Stream app. You can download that at sharpestream.com. It's either on iOS or Android. And you can watch all my premium content for free. If you want access to the replays, become a Sharpe Stream member or a Patreon member. Geeky Anomaly says, on the Sharpe Stream site, says, best lover I've ever had. Sex started out boring, got better and better because I didn't tell her what I wanted. I simply did it, and she fell in line. The best sex I have ever had was with Jennifer. She happens to be number 3 on my list of love lists. Jennifer she doesn't have a Devin type body. She didn't have a Chrissy type body, but her body was attractive. I mean, dude, flat stomach, ample boobs, decent ass, long hair. So she wasn't, I don't know, she was a 6 out of 10. Her body was probably a 7, so she wasn't anything to write home about. But dude, that's the best sex I've ever had. And she's not even close to the most attractive woman I've ever been in a relationship with. Like, not even close. Like, Jennifer's probably, Jesus Christ. Dude, she's way down the list. So the best sex I've ever had was nowhere near the most attractive woman I've ever had sex with. Dude, the two most attractive women I've ever had sex with. Number one's got to be Chrissy. Number 1A, a girl named Martina. You guys know all about her. Number 3, Tatiana. Those 3 are the most attractive women I've ever stuck my dick in. In terms of the kind of sex, those 3 are probably in the teens. This is how it is, man. That's how it is. That is going to do it for this, the 789th edition of TSR Live. Thank you to all of the callers and the super chatters. If you want to watch the F-Boy Island breakdowns, simply download the Sharpe Stream app on sharpestream.com. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. All right, everybody. Let me let me fix this quickly so that we can get to Le Breakdown. So this is going to be the F-Boy Island breakdown. All right. I don't know why this thing switches on me. It's the weirdest thing, but we'll get it all figured out. Walter has joined me in the studio, so this should be interesting. Okay, so we already saw that. Yes, I know I'm still on, Dev. I know what's up. All right. Okay. All right, so I'm going to say goodbye. I'm now going to say goodbye to my all of my audiences except for Sharpe Stream. So I'm now going to say goodbye to my DLive audience, my Twitch audience, my backup YouTube audience, my MGTOW.TV and Manosphere.TV audience, and of course my YouTube audience. Thank you guys.